So welcome back to another episode, and welcome back to another Kim. And today, what we thought we'd do is look back on some games that came out in 2017 that we didn't talk about, that we played quite a bit of. A lot of them we finished, actually, which is surprising. And we just never talked about them on the show. I don't know why not. It's just things get pushed aside or whatever. And today we just want to talk about some of these games. And first of all, I want to say how our shirts looking. This is doing marriage right. I like this. She's wearing the Donna shirt. I'm wearing the Adol shirts. A little bit of
marriage.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of NIS action going on. And let's start off though with Square Enix, a game that this is incredible. This is such a big deal game. Back in the day, I picked up Final Fantasy XII. This is the Steelbook edition, the PlayStation 2 version of it. Wow. And I played 25 hours into it, and then for some unknown reason, I quit. And here's where we get into Kim here. This is great. About 8 or 9 years ago, I was going out with another girl before Kim. Who would that be? But she had played the game 25 hours in as well and had quit. And it was one of those games on my bucket list that I always wanted to finish. And that was Final Fantasy XII, as I say. Then the remastered version came out. This is the limited edition, Steelbook edition that came out. And I'm like, Kim, you have a mission. You have to beat the X. You have to beat the X. Motivated.
I kicked her ass.
Kicked her ass. Kim absolutely annihilated this game. And what did you think about Final Fantasy XII?
I loved it. Honestly, I'm a big fan of Final Fantasy, especially Final Fantasy IX.
That was your first game, yeah?
Yeah, and when I first started the game, it was going so slow.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh no, I'm not gonna like this. Like, I just don't know how I'm gonna do it. And then as I'm playing it and I'm starting, John's like, you can speed it up. Like, as soon as that happened, the game opened up for me.
Yeah.
I mean, it was a little bit too fast because your eye, right? Trying to keep up with the characters when they're speeding up.
Yeah, and that's what she's meaning. You can speed up the combat.
You can speed up the combat.
And the running around.
Yeah, which helps, right? Especially when you're doing like little things from one end to the other for people. I mean, the character design. Oh my God, Fran. Fran is gorgeous. She's the bunny girl. Loved her. She's
a great character.
She is, but what's so funny is the guys are mostly half naked with their vests, and the girls are usually covered up, except for Fran. But that I find very ironic. I thought it was hilarious, but they're short vests.
I know that the short vests that just come up to here and stuff like that. They were having a lot of fun in Final Fantasy doing that sort of stuff, and they changed the Moogle designs a bit.
The Moogles got changed. I love the cutesy little Moogles from Final Fantasy IX. I mean, they were nice. Like, they looked good. But even I was like, oh, is that a Moogle?
Yeah. It was a little bit different, for sure.
I loved it.
But the funny thing is, the one thing that we were always joking about was this goddamn one word in the game that they love saying 1,000 times, Nethicite.
Nethicite. Did you know about the Nethicite?
We need to get the Nethicite. We need to get the Nethicite. Where's the Nethicite?
All about the Nethicite, baby.
I got the Nethicite. I lost the Nethicite. Where's the Nethicite?
We're making Nethicite.
It's all about that in the game. And what we were also laughing about is the judges in all of their armor. One of the jokes we were always having playing the game was they'd be walking, talking to each other, and I always muffled my voice and went, because they'd be talking.
So we talk over them with our own dialogue.
Because if you're talking in like a steel mask like that, your voice is not going to be like so perfect like it was in the game. It'd be all what'd you say? I don't know. And we were laughing about that. This is something stupid that we get into. We never reviewed the game. It was a crying shame.
So weird. Like, well, then again, one thing after the other doing different games, but that definitely deserves a good review.
I want to give you a high five for defeating the ex-girlfriend. Very good job. Very nice.
Very nice.
Okay, the next game series that we were playing, this is interesting because Kim has never played a traditional Fire Emblem game.
Yeah.
She played Fire Emblem Warriors and finished this game 17 hours.
17 hours.
What did you think?
I liked it, enjoyed it. I mean, it was fun getting new characters and leveling up that way. It was just too quick. I wanted more. And the whole entire going back and doing different levels and easy, medium, hard, and you just kind of repeated.
Grind them.
And I grinded it. I grinded it too much, so every time I went to fight, it was a little bit easy. But the designs was great. I mean, the story of past and future and now, like, you got one character, spoiler alert, meeting her father, and yet he's the same age as her.
Yeah, they're all from different Fire Emblem games put into
That's
one.
what you told me.
And
yeah.
that was what kind of confused Kim. I'm like, this is not how the Fire Emblem games normally play. These are action versions of that. And that goes right into Fire Emblem Warriors on the Switch.
Right.
I played quite a bit into this, and it's the same style of game.
Right.
Graphics are really nice in this. If you like Hyrule Warriors or any of those style of games, you're really going to like these games. But as you said, I remember you kind of walked out of the other room and you're like, it's over.
It's
I'm like, already? Like one thing I got to say about Kim. Annihilates games. Like, you're like a machine.
I get addicted.
Yeah.
Like Final Fantasy in this, I'd be coming home and I'd be playing it for hours and hours, and then on the weekends, like, as soon as I wake up, I'm playing, and then it's done.
Even with Final Fantasy XII, you grinded so much that it was so simple for you.
Yeah, there were some points when it was, like, compared to 9, I was definitely having an easier time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So yeah, the Fire Emblem games were a lot of fun,
Yeah.
type of thing. A little bit short on some of the gameplay elements there, and then we're led into a very unpolitically correct game, which we applaud, by the way, and that is Senran Kagura. Senran Kagura, right here. This is the special edition. I really didn't know what to think about this.
Neither did I.
I know.
I thought it was hilarious.
It was so funny, and what it is there's a single player mode where you play as a girl in a bikini.
Yeah, white bikini.
White bikini.
You can choose later.
And you can change your outfits later on and stuff like that. And you're just pumping your gun full of water. And you're just going around blasting other girls with water. It's a big water gun fight. In different stages, and there's an online component there. I couldn't get online, sadly, never ever connected, but I was just playing the one player mode, going around just doing the different missions, and we were laughing. We're like, this is just so Japanese and so over the top, and I applauded it for what it was doing. I thought it was a lot of fun.
It was a good laugh.
It was a good laugh. We had a good laugh with that game.
Yeah.
Next up, we have to talk about is a little game here called Demon Gaze by
Demon Gaze.
Demon Gaze. It's by NIS, published by NIS.
Right.
And a lot of people said to me, like, you're always trying to trying to talk about NIS games, and I'm always saying absolutely, because NIS doesn't get enough exposure. They're not making, at times, AAA games. They're not publishing AAA games. You know, obviously they created the E-Series here. We're always trying to pimp that. Mm-hmm. And you know what? We decided to give Demon Gaze 2 a go. Or I should say, Kim gave it a big go. What did you think?
It was cute.
Yeah.
I mean, not for my age group, for maybe a younger audience, for sure. I thought it was a lot better when I swapped it over to Japanese.
Japanese voices?
Yeah, because they sounded a little bit more serious with his little cat ears and speaking Japanese compared to his
It just
English
sounds a little bit more
dub.
intense, a little bit better.
That's what it is, a little bit more intense. It was, however, one of my first dungeon crawls.
Yeah, like where you're just going through a dungeon, fighting monsters and waves over and over again. Yeah. I came into the room and I was watching it, and I really like the style. I like the characters.
Oh, definitely the style.
Yeah, you know it's a bit of a budget game. Yeah. You know, this is not a AAA game by any sense of the imagination.
Yeah.
But, you know, for these kind of style of Japanese dungeon crawler games, it's not bad. It has some interesting story elements.
Yeah.
You know, it's kind of weird because it's kind of medieval and modern at the same time, with kind futuristic at times. It's kind of a meld of many different styles in there, but I really liked the graphical look. I like the characters, and you know what? I always like to give Japanese games a go. And if you look at all of these games that we're playing, they're all Japanese for sure. That's what's so funny here. Yeah. The next game up is another NIS game,
Yomawari.
And this is kind of a survival horror game. Yeah. It's also a sequel to the very first game, and this game is Midnight Shadows. And this is kind of an unusual game. It starts off with two young girls that are friends that kind of get separated. Yep. What do you think?
It scared me, surprisingly. I mean, I do not do horror games.
You don't at all. Kim was mad. Okay, I gotta say this. We set it all up. We turned off all the lights, and she kept saying, "John, get back here. I can't do this. I can't do this game." And these two girls,
they're so cute, and you're just like, okay, just walking in the forest, and then, you know, monster happens, and you're just like,
Yeah, and it's creepy the way
because they're chasing you.
Yeah,
they're chasing you
all the time, and it's really kind of creepy. You have a flashlight, and so what it's about is these two girls that are friends. They get separated at the beginning of the game. You spend most of the game trying to find each other, and you swap back and forth between each character. And you have these demons coming after you, and you never know when they're going to show up. And it's just this heartbeat sound, and you start freaking out, and you're like, oh my god.
Hiding in a bush.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh my god, that's going to protect you.
So yeah, it's like a survival horror game, and we never played the first game, and I was really curious about what kind of style of game it is. It's another budget style title, but this is what I would actually call, it has a very indie feel, and it's a really nice indie feel.
But well done, executed.
Really well executed. So that's a kind of a fascinating game, really dark kind of soundtrack, excellent story. Something interesting, and I think it's one of those, I hate to say it, like a little bit of a gem that kind of got missed in 2017.
Yeah.
Next up is a couple of games that I'm really experienced with that Kim doesn't really know too much about. The first one is Axiom Verge, and this game came out a few years ago for the PlayStation 4. It's a kind of an action adventure style game, kind of a Metroidvania style game. Very cool. The graphics all hand-drawn, beautiful looking stuff. You get different weapons that open up different levels. It is a pure joy to experience this game, and this is the Multiverse Edition that came out on the Nintendo Switch. And I think a lot of people missed out on the fact that this game is out on the Switch. It's a perfect style game for the Switch to take with you on the bus and to get into this style of world. And I think this special edition now is kind of limited. Even Rob came over last week and he's like, oh my god, you have this game? And like, it's sold out everywhere, and it's one of those ones I'm really, thankful to have. It's absolutely awesome, but a great art style, really harkening back to the 16-bit, 8-bit era of Metroid style games.
Very cool.
Now here's one, I don't know if you remember this. We've watched the anime a few times. It's called Dot Hack, about the kids that are in the online universe. They were playing an online game together. And it's about all kinds of stuff that happens to them within that world. And I was a big fan of Dot Hack Sign. That was the first series that came out, years ago. And then Dot Hack GU came out as a few different versions. And the one thing that I really want to say is it's a beautiful remaster of an older game that I don't think had enough of a chance to build up an audience. The Dot Hack games are kind of, I'll say they're very cultish over here. They don't have a huge widespread appeal, and I think that is a crying shame. This is one that I will be playing very, very soon. You just got to see the difference from, the original games to these games, and this includes all of the games now, which is really amazing. And I'm really a big fan of playing in an online game that's not really an online game.
Yeah.
There's something kind of fun about that. And I can't wait to kind of play this game and see really what it's all about. All I've seen is all the videos showing all the differences between the different versions, and they did a hell of a job. And this game came out at Christmas and nobody bought it, I think. I think so. I think everybody was looking at all the big AAA games on the Switch and things like that, and this sort of game kind of gets pushed aside. There was a few games here that got pushed aside, and wow, there was a lot of games that we played this year that we didn't talk about on the show, which was a crying shame. And the list was building up, and I'm like, Kim, we have to sit here and talk about these games. And I'm so happy that you got a chance to talk about Final Fantasy XII. Finally.
Yes, and honestly, loved it. One of my favorites.
It's a really good game, and you know what? There's a lot of interesting games in here. Give some of these games a shot. There's some real hidden gems in here. So anyways, guys, until next time.